You know what I love about art in video games? Is that no matter how much someone criticizes a game or tells you how a game is bad, there'll always be someone out there in the world who would love that art, who would love that game. They will see it as their favorite game of all time. They will praise it to the moon, talk about how much fun they had when they played the game and how much fun they enjoyed it. Maybe if it's an old game, how much fun they had as a child playing that game for the very first time. That's what I love about video games, art, just because there's so many people out there. Everyone has different tastes, and everyone will love something that other people may not love, that they may hate. But I want to talk to you today about Pokemon in general, because people are playing the new Pokemon ZA game, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that people are enjoying it. That regardless of what has been going on and so many people's opinions on Pokemon ZA and the development and like what Game Freak has made in terms of the environment, the assets, and the gameplay of Pokemon ZA, there are people out there who love it. And I think that's fantastic. And if you love it, if you're having a blast, I am very happy for you. I think you deserve to be happy and you deserve to play a Pokemon game without hearing that criticism. But if I may just lend, or if you can lend me your ear to just explain to you why some of that criticism isn't hatred for the game. So many people in not only the video game community, but also the anime community and so many other different communities think that criticism is automatically hatred for something, right? It's just automatic hatred for your favorite thing. But that's not necessarily the case. Criticism is something that will always happen to whatever it is your favorite thing. It will always happen. You can choose to ignore it, you can choose to argue about it, and you could choose to just love the game no matter what. And I think that is something that so many people should do. That no matter how much someone criticizes your game, if you love it, you love it. And that's perfectly fine. And people who criticize the game and who try to make you feel bad for liking it, that's just wrong. They should not matter at all. Their opinion should not matter at all. But that's why I want you to just at least lend me your ear in just explaining why I think some of that criticism is at least valid, because I think you, as Pokemon fans who love this franchise, who love these games, deserve just a bit more. I'm not saying that you should hate Pokemon. That is never something I would tell you that you have to do. I think that's just outright just outrageous. It just absolutely just it really makes no sense for me to try to make you hate Pokemon. That's not the point. The point is that I think you as a fan, you as a consumer who buy the product, I think you deserve more from Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I think Pokemon can be better. Can be so much better. And I think that's where some of the genuine criticism is coming from. Take a look at Pokemon ZA. As you're playing through it, you're enjoying the combat, you're enjoying the gameplay, but are you seeing the environment of the city that you're in? The assets of the city that you're in. You see buildings, these shapes, and you see what looks like a PNG image just plastered on the side of the shapes to give you just the illusion that this is a building with windows. Do you feel that that is perfectly fine for the Pokemon Company to give you in a game? You don't have to say yes or no. My point is that I think you should get better assets. You should get better environments. You should get better product from the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company is the largest and most profitable media franchise in history. Not in the last decade. No, in history. Like, if you take a look at the actual numbers, Number one is the Pokemon Company. And they just blow the rest on that list just out of the water, out of the park. It's just insane how much money the Pokemon Company profits through not only just the games, the anime, merchandise, especially the merchandise. You deserve more because they are making so much money out of it. You deserve more out of the Pokemon games that they are making. That's not me saying that we should hate Pokemon, the Pokemon Company, or Game Freak. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that you, as a consumer who buys these products, you should get just a little bit more than what you are given. Now, I'm not going to blame the development team at all because it's not their fault. Whenever a game is being developed, there's usually always a production team that plans everything out, including what the game is going to be about, the story, basically the budget, and how long it has to be completed for. There's so much logistic that goes on in game development that you can't really blame the developers, the people working on the game, to bring out all of these ideas to life, right? But the budget, the time, all of that can be changed to allow the development team to give you that better product, or at least a product where you don't have like environment smushed against a object or an asset, or buildings that aren't just a PNG images slapped onto a shape, but give you that view, that sense of 3D space that so many other games provide you. You know? I think we should try and ask for the Pokemon Company to just give a little bit more into the development of these games. And allow these developers the time to essentially make that game better. To make these games look better. I'm one of the people who will always state that graphics should always be third on the list or even lower than that. I think every game, the main thing of any game should be gameplay, followed by the story. You know, sometimes story doesn't even matter because at the end of the day, it's all about the gameplay, such as platformers. You know, but gameplay should always be first. Graphics, depending on who you ask, many people say it doesn't matter as much as gameplay, and that is true. And I truly believe that, and I'm one of the people who do believe that. But that doesn't mean sacrifice graphics. It doesn't mean just completely ignore graphics. No. It just means focus on the gameplay and then add the graphics. Add those assets and make everything look great. And the best way to do that is by giving more into the budget and more time to create all of this, to give you the better product. And I think that is a fair criticism. I don't think you should hate Pokemon, that you should go after the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, the developers, harass them, you know, and do all this stuff, because that in itself is crazy, you know. But you do deserve more. And I think the Pokemon Company, who makes so much money every year, should give you that. I think that is just proper and genuine criticism that some people seem to think is just pure hatred. That we are hating on the Pokemon Company, that we're hating on Pokemon as a franchise. And so many people are confused by that. You know? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some criticism that's just pure hatred. Like, there are people out there who will hate a franchise just because they just want to hate it. At the end of the day, they just don't care and want to hate it just to rage bait somebody or just, you know, whatever. Because they have some sort of issue with Pokemon or just some sort of issue with fans just having a good time. There are people who do that. That's not the criticism and, like, the people you should be listening to. You know, because those people always will try to make you hate something, despite all the fun you're having. But the genuine criticism, such as putting more money into these projects, putting more development time to give these developers times to create better assets, you know, for you to get a better product that is worth your money, I think that's important. And you could believe that what you were given from Pokemon ZA is worth your money. That's your opinion, and you have every right to have that opinion. And if that's what you feel, then that's what you feel. Right? I just want Pokemon fans to just continue being happy. Because I love seeing people being happy with what they love. Right? But that doesn't mean that you can't ask for just a little bit more help. Just a little bit more to make your experience even better. It's not trying to devalue your experience. It's just trying to slightly enhance it. To give you something more. And considering, like I said, how profitable the Pokemon franchise is, they have the ability to do so. Again, I understand there's probably logistic issues. Maybe Pokemon ZA was essentially first developed for the Switch 1, but then when the Switch 2 what came out or like was given to them by Nintendo, and you know all this stuff about them trying to make sure it all works for the Nintendo Switch 2, maybe they completely forgot or didn't have the time and budget to create better assets. Maybe that was a thing. Maybe that's like a logistical issue that could have happened, right? So who knows, maybe the next Pokemon game you will see that improvement, right? But I do think you deserve more because you are what make Pokemon great. Pokemon fans is why Pokemon has become the most profitable franchise in history. And you deserve more, right? If you feel the game is great as it is, that's fine too. I'm not saying that what you are getting is complete slop. What you are getting is something that you should hate. No. Just a little bit more would be better. You know? Improvement isn't bad. Improvement isn't bad, criticism or hatred for something. Slight improvement or just any sort of improvement at all only makes something better. Right? It only makes something better. And I think Pokemon fans deserve that. And I think that's where a lot of the criticism people are trying to say, haters are trying to tell them to hate the Pokemon company. I think that is just not genuine. I think that is in itself just wrong. But the criticism of people saying that you deserve better, I think is perfectly valid. And no, that doesn't mean that people should make you feel like you should hate it. That if you are enjoying yourself, you should stop. Because, oh my god, you're the reason why the Pokemon company continues to give you this slap. No. I find that just really disingenuous, just really rude. But just any sort of improvement is always better. And I think you as Pokemon fans deserve that. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.